It's time now for a bit of a Derby County Academy check-in. Now, the under-21s and under-18s have played the start of their campaigns. The 21s haven't quite got off to the start that they would have hoped in Premier League 2, but they've picked up a wide range of victories in other competitions. The under-18s are currently leading their division, but they have played an extra game on their opponents. We are going to look into both divisions and both squads to see which players could potentially make that step up to first-team football over the course of the next few years. There's also some players who have been called up on international duty, so we're going to make sure to stay across that. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County content, which comes daily on this channel. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well, and let's get into it. Now, here we have the under-21s over on SofaScore. We don't have full access to fixtures and stuff on SofaScore or FotMob or anything like that. But Derby County currently sit in 22nd place in the division with 2 wins and 4 losses. They've played some really difficult teams already this season, with facing the likes of Manchester City, and I think they've played Liverpool as well, which is obviously difficult for these young players, and especially when we're still rebuilding that 21s. The 18s is in a really good place now, but the 21s is still building. They've conceded 16 goals, scoring only 9 in those 6 games. Attacking wise, we've got a penalty goal and averaged 1.5 goals per game. On the defensive side of things, we've only picked up 1 clean sheet in those 6 games, 2.7 conceded per game, and we're averaging 2 yellow cards per game. Now, if we look at the goals tally, you've obviously got Lennon Wheeldon holding the fort down with 3 goals in PL2 so far. Emmanuel has picked up a goal as well. Jack Perry, Niall McAndrew and Riley Maloney have also picked up 1 each. And if we look at the scoring frequency, Lennon Wheeldon obviously holds the top of that. And if we look over on the assists, 4 players holding 1. Cruz Allen, a big name to look out for. Now, as we look through their fixtures so far this season, look, they've faced Everton, which was a 3-0 win. Really, really good performance. A 3-1 defeat to Aston Villa, which in my opinion isn't a shocking result. I think Aston Villa put in a ton of money into their squad and their academy, and they're showing their fruits of their labour. We look then at the Manchester City game. This is probably the most disappointing of them all. Derby County went 2-0 up after 38 minutes and were unable to hold on for all 3 points. It was a bit of a disappointing performance. Obviously, a red card for a Manchester City player in the game as well. They obviously picked up a 1-0 win versus Newcastle before back-to-back defeats to Bournemouth and Liverpool. Bournemouth, another game where they get themselves into the lead and unfortunately fall away. The Liverpool game, a Riley Maloney penalty in the 87th minute, but they were already 2-0 down at that point. They obviously picked up a really good victory versus Wolverhampton Wanderers under-21s as well. That's a really, really good performance. Niall McAndrew, Lennon Wheeldon, Jack Perry picking up goals in this one. There's some really good players in this under-21 side, and then most recently they lost 6-0 in a very disappointing result versus Sunderland. And I think obviously you look at the side we put out on that day, it is a good side, and obviously Dejon Brown playing. It is disappointing that Derby County came away with nothing. It's disappointing in the way that we got defeated as well, but it's one of those for me. They come back from the international break and face up against another tough team in Brentford. It's not going to get any easier for Derby County as a Category 1 academy, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can find a way out of the group in the Premier League Cup. It's one of those for me which, if we can get a good run going, get a lot of minutes in those young legs, I think it's a really good opportunity. Obviously, they're playing in the National League Cup. I believe that is the 21s, and in there's another one as well, the Central League as well, which Derby County are in this season, and it's a brilliant opportunity for Derby County to get those young lads minutes against senior pros and stuff like that, and it's going to be interesting to see how it does develop over the course of the season. But shall we get into looking at the under-18s? Now, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for all of your latest Derby County content. We keep up to date with all the latest games, news and everything you could wish for. Let me know your thoughts on the under-18s and 21 season so far down in the comments. But shall we get into the 18s? So, Derby County's under-18s, as you can see, are currently undefeated in the under-18 Premier League. 5 wins, 1 draw, 16 points from 6 games. They've had a really, really good start to life in this division. And obviously, they have played a game extra than a couple of teams and a couple of games extra than other ones. But they've done really well so far. 6 matches, 25 goals scored, 8 goals conceded, 4.2 goals per game, 2 penalty goals, 1 clean sheet, which is obviously a bit disappointing, but it's okay. 1.3 goals conceded per game and 1.3 yellow cards per game. Now, obviously, Derby could only really... they can only drop a position to those teams in games in hand. And they could probably go behind... No, they couldn't go behind Wolves either, who haven't played many games. So it's one of those for me. I think they've had a really good start to the division. If we look at the result versus Liverpool, 5-1. Excellent performance, some big names in this squad. Luke Banks, really good player. Case Gordon, Tristan Gill, he's played a lot with the 21s. You look at Cruz Allen, Owen Eames, some big names to look out for. And Justin Ogatolu, really, really good players. If we look at the bench as well, Isaac Gordon, I think he's a really good player. Sean Corrie has come in as well. Derby County are going to be in a really good position. Then obviously a 3-3 draw versus Newcastle. Disappointing one after going 2-0 up. Well, 2-1 up, sorry. But it's one of those for me that we were lucky to come away with a point in the end, a Luke Banks penalty. And again, if we look at some of the names on this team sheet, again, you've got the same sort of names. Luke Banks, Isaac Gordon, Case Gordon. I can't say his name, but he is a really good player. He's top goal scorer. I'm fairly sure in one of the competitions. A 6-5 win over Brighton came in the Under-18s Premier League Cup. Really, really good performance. Justin Ogatolu picking up 4 of those goals himself. Obviously, there was a red card in this one for Adisa Asande. AJ Doyle, a player who signed in the summer as well, getting his first real minutes for the club. You obviously then go on to the Stoke City game, 6-2. Another big performance from the likes of Ogatolu, Owen Eames as well. Really, really good performances. And obviously, we go to the Wolves game, a 2-1 win there. Then they beat Blackburn 6-0. Like, you cannot tell me that this team aren't in a really, really good position. Middlesbrough, 3-1 victory there. And then you look at, obviously, they picked up their first defeat of the season versus Norwich in the Premier League Cup round 2. But they're in a really, really good position. If you look at the Premier League Cup numbers, you've got Ogatolu at the top of that list with 4 goals. But if we go to the Under-18 Premier League, it's Charles Abuka with 6, Ogatolu with 6, Eames with 4, Banks and Domain with 3, Adisa Asande and Case Gordon with 1. I think both of these teams, the Under-18s and 21s, are in really good positions. I think the 21s need a bit more age and experience in that 21 group to be able to pick up the performances that we saw in the past. But I certainly think the Under-18s are building those players for the future. You've got the likes of Cruz Allen and Owen Eames and stuff who will eventually step up. Obviously, you've got Charles Abuka, Justin Ogatolu. They will make 21's appearances over the course of this season. I have no doubt in my mind. I think both of these teams are in a really, really good position. Now, obviously, Derby County will be looking for these players to be making that step up to the first team over the course of the next few years. But this is another thing which we're going to talk about over on this channel. Derby County haven't gifted a lot of opportunities to youth over the course of the last 18 months. There's been a few players who have had opportunities, and obviously that masses of debuts in the EFL Trophy, but ultimately nothing long lasting. So if you have enjoyed this video and you want to find out more, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County content. Make sure you let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Which player do you think is going to be next to make the step up to the first team? Obviously, you've got the likes of Max Bardell, Ben Radcliffe and Darren Robinson, who are probably the most known names in those younger age groups and probably the closest to the first team. But let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.